Hey everyone, so today I want to talk to you about Strictly Baby Disco, which is a show on Channel 4, and it's very much like Toddlers and Tiaras and what's the other one, Baby Pageant, Baby Beauty Queen, sort of the one where you take this big elaborate world of sort of child competitions, but this one is with dancing and specifically freestyle disco, which is something I knew nothing about. To be honest, I don't know that much about dancing in general, but there have been similar ones like the ballroom one and things where I kind of knew a little bit more about it than I did this. I didn't even know freestyle disco existed, but from what the programme portrays, it seems to be quite a popular thing and has quite a lot of competition behind it, which I didn't know about, which is quite interesting. The thing with this programme, the format is quite similar to the others. You know, it follows a couple of different children from sort of different parts of the country. Look at competitions in Ireland and Scotland and a couple of other ones and how they interweave and sort of who the hot kids are, if you like, the kids to beat the specific competition. And it talks about the parents and the children and gets different people's inputs and people who run the competition and things, just to basically give you a wider understanding of the world of freestyle disco and, you know, just how tough it is and, you know, how much competition there really is out there. And as I said, I wasn't familiar that it was such a big thing. So in that sense, it's quite interesting. I don't think I was that bothered about, you know, the specific dancers. You know, with some of them, especially with the pageant queen ones, the child pageant ones, you do kind of get your favourites. And the more series you watch, the more you can kind of see certain people coming back again. And you do get your favourites, and you do want to support certain ones. With this one, I don't think I was ever overly bothered with any of them, and I wasn't really cheering any of them on to, you know, win the competition. It's not actually as predictable as you think, you know. And with some of them, you'll have a child competing and you think, oh, well, of course they're going to win. You know, they're going to win the contest, then win another one and another one. This is not entirely predictable, which is an aspect that I like, because you are sitting watching it thinking, oh, they danced really well, they're going to get through, and they might not. And sometimes you think, that was still flawless, and they get through, and it was, you know, it's quite unpredictable at times. The thing I like about this is not just the fact that it is so elaborate. You do get to see the costumes, and you are sitting thinking, wow, that is insane. Some of the costumes they have to wear are crazy. What I like about this though is that it doesn't seem as pushy parent as some of the pageant style ones and some of the other dancing ones. It's not as driven towards sort of, if you like, shaming the parents. You know, some of them, the style that they're produced in does kind of look at the parents and say, you're making your child do this. But this one you can see, at least I feel that most if not all of the kids who are involved in this particular programme, I find want to do it. You can see that they do have the passion for it. Perhaps their parents made them start dancing. Perhaps it was their idea. But you know, you have to find something to kickstart your passion. And you can tell that they're all passionate and they are all doing it for the right reasons, I feel. Which is a bonus, because you do get some of the shows where you can clearly tell the children aren't wanting to do it and their parents are just like, go get me some money please. There are a couple of quotes. I've got two quotes written down which kind of struck the most emotions out of me. The first one, the mother said this to Orlaigh, one of the Irish girls. She said, dancing like a beginner, you know, something along the lines of, if you're going to dance like a beginner like you just did, you'll get nowhere. Her dancing was phenomenal. That is it's kind of like the whole, you're never satisfied with what you've got. You know, the more you get in life, the less satisfied you are with what you have, because you always expect more. Orlaigh's dance routine for this particular moment was phenomenal. I'm thinking, how on earth is she doing that? She's bending backwards and doing really insane things with her legs. It's crazy and fantastic. Very talented. And her mother says she's dancing like a beginner. I'm sorry, but a beginner is basically somebody who's very new to it. So ergo, I would be a beginner. You perhaps would be a beginner. I'm assuming not any of my subscribers do freestyle disco. Dancing like a beginner. A beginner couldn't blooming do that. So clearly that must be really heartbreaking for Orlaigh and any of the girls who get that said to them, to say that they're doing this fantastic dance routine and they're being told that they're dancing like a beginner. I'm like, that's unfair. Actually, was it her mother or was it her dance teacher? It was either her mother or her dance teacher who said that to her. One of the two, you know, two of the most influential people in her dance career saying that to her. It must have been heartbreaking. I can't remember how old she was, but she is quite young. And I just think, that's not a beginner. A beginner is me, somebody who can't even walk in a straight line barely, never mind dance like that, you know. So that was lovely. The second one, I can't remember who said this, my apologies for my sort of incompetence with note-taking for this particular episode, but she said, one of the younger girls said, you know, not everyone can do it, you know, not being able to go to competitions because your parents won't pay for it or because they can't afford it. And I thought that is really it, really. If you can be as talented as you like, if you don't have the money to pay for these elaborate costumes and to pay, I guess, for all this dance training, you can't do it. Which is just one of the flaws in life, you know, you have to work hard to get where you want, to be able to afford to get where you want. But when you're younger, obviously, you know, if you're an 8-year-old and you want to do dancing and your parents can't afford it, you can't do it. I went to a couple of clubs when I was younger. I went to gymnastics for a while and brownies, but that doesn't really count. And I did a couple of sort of dance things. But if I wanted to go and do like a proper stage school, which, you know, when I was younger I didn't have the confidence, but looking back, I wish I'd gone to Sylvia Young's, auditioned and gone to Sylvia Young's, would have been fantastic. But I know for a fact there's no way my single mother at the time would have been able to afford that. And that is a massive shame, that there are so many people out there who probably are talented as ever, but they just don't have the finances behind it to go and push them forward. And a lot of this focus on the show was you can be exceedingly talented, but if you don't have the costume and if you don't have the physical look right when you're dancing, the judge is not going to give you as much credit. And that it's the harsh reality, I guess. You know, I guess a cheaper form would be Highland dancing. I'd love to do Highland dancing. I guess the costumes for that aren't as elaborate. Highland dancing or Irish dancing, I'd love to be able to do both, but I have no coordination, so that just wouldn't work for me. But yeah, so the program itself is really well produced. You know, we don't focus on one child for a long period of time. We do flip between them. They do interweave, so you are sort of kept on your toes quite a lot. It's not as negative towards the parents, and it's not as pushy. But there are, as I said, a few quotes which kind of hit the heart, really. But it is actually quite enjoyable, and for once I wasn't watching one of these style of programs thinking I'm going to punch every parent. It actually worked, and I was actually in favour of pretty much everybody. I did like it, and it's also, you know, very inspiring, especially if you want to dance. You can watch it and see kind of what you need to do. I definitely don't want to do this, but it's very good. Please feel free to leave comments and let me know your thoughts. Also, if you like, let me know your favourite style of these programs. You know, do you prefer the pageant queen ones? Do you prefer the dancing ones? I think there are a couple of similar style ones. I think there was at one point a model-based one, you know, where the child was put through their paces to become a model and they were told how to stand and things. Could be making that up. Could be thinking of something else. Not sure. But let me know your thoughts. Please feel free to leave comments and I'll see you all next time. Bye!